You can get started.
Right. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. الحمد لله حمدا كثيرا طيبا مباركا فيه ونصلي ونسلم على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. In this blessed day of Jummah, Friday, we ask Allah Azza wa Jal to forgive our sins, to forgive us, to grant us paradise, inshallah, in Jannah, to protect us, protect our families, our communities, and to grant us wisdom, knowledge, and grant us this deep feeling of gratefulness to Allah Azza wa Jal, to all the bounties that He bestowed on us. I wanted to share with you on this day of Jummah the story of one of the people of Bani Israel, what the Quran called in Surah Al-Qasas, the story of Qarun. The Quran says that this man Qarun, inna Qaruna kana min qawmi Musa, that Qarun was of the people of Musa alayhi salam. And Ibn Abbas radiallahu anhuma, one of the great companion and really knowledgeable of the Quran, said Qarun could be one of the distant cousins of Musa alayhi salam, Prophet Musa. So Allah Jal told us the story about this man, not simply to narrate stories for us so we can enjoy reading history, but to learn from these stories, because a lot of the lessons that the Quran have in these stories, they transcend time, they transcend people, culture. They give you these values that are universal across time and history and culture and languages. So Allah Azza wa Jal told us, "Inna Qaruna kana min qawmi Musa fabagha alayhim." That indeed, Qarun was from Musa's people, but he behaved arrogantly toward them. وآتيناه من الكنوز ما إن مفاتحه لتنوء بالعصبة أولي القوة. Then Allah Azza wa Jal said, we gave him so much treasure, wealth, and assets, that the keys of all where he put these treasures and wealth, simply the keys of these coffers, would have been difficult to carry even by a group, a strong man. So you can imagine at the times of Bani Israel how much wealth and gold and assets this man had was given by Allah Azza wa Jal. So you would think someone with this kind of wealth would be grateful, would give back, would feel that this is all blessing from the Creator on him. But however, Qarun was a very arrogant person. In fact, his people, his community reminded him, إذ قال له قومه لا تفرح إن الله لا يحب الفرحين. Then his people told him, don't be overjoyed. Don't be overjoyed. Don't be ungrateful, because Allah Azza wa Jal does not really like the overjoyed, ungrateful people. He thought he had it all. Imagine these billionaires we have nowadays in our modern time. They think they have it all. Whatever they want, whatever they wish, they can buy it. They can buy cars, houses, money, power, you name it. But the people of Qarun, the community around him, spoke. They didn't just think that since this man is wealthy and powerful, we have to let go, we have to listen to him, we cannot bother him. They advised him and they gave him five pieces of advice about how to deal with wealth and how to be grateful. And these five pieces are really, really Very important. And if we think about those and try our best, struggle to follow these advice, we will have a better balanced life. They told him, listen to this. وَبَتَغِي فِيمَا آتَاكَ اللَّهُ الدَّارَ الْآخِرَةِ. They told him, seek, seek of what Allah Azza wa Jal bestowed on you with that wealth, with that power, seek the home or the hereafter. What does that mean? Is that whatever power, wealth, assets you have in this life, gear that power, that wealth, use it in a way that will allow you to have a path to the hereafter. That means if this power and money and wealth is not going to help you in your struggle on the path to Allah Azza wa Jal, to paradise, then it's going to be against you, not for you. Or the dollars you have in the day of judgment, instead of be a witness for you, they will be a witness against you. But they continued. Not only they told him, hey, remember you have a life after. This is not your permanent life. You have to face the creator. They told him after that, وَلَا تَنْسَ نَصِيبَكَ مِنَ الدُّنْيَا. But do not forget your portion of joyful enjoyment in this life here in this world. And that's the idea. Throughout history, the prophets reminded their people and communities that you gotta have this balance, between living a life that is comfortable, where you have your dignity, where you live in a good way, and between always remember to be grateful, then this is not your permanent life. Always remember, even if you owe 10 houses, it's temporary. Remember that a lot of you now are students renting in an apartment, have roommate. Well, that's life. You're going to be renting a room, but at the end, you're going to graduate from the university. That's not where you're going to spend your life, in that small apartment on campus or near the campus. So they reminded him, have this balance. وَأَحْسِنْ كَمَا أَحْسَنَ اللَّهُ إِلَيْكَ. A beautiful advice, very, very relevant to our life. And they told him, do good as Allah has been good to you. Allah gave you, you were able by the bounty of Allah to get $100. Put some of it in good, for charity, to help others in need, especially when there is people, when their situations is not easy, is difficult on people. It's not about the amount, it's the intention, the heart that you put in it, and the effort. Sometimes you'll find that people who are not very wealthy are the most generous one. They give from their heart, they give from the most valuable things they have. While some people are very wealthy, could be very stingy, and if they either give to show off or very peanuts from their wealth. Remember, وَأَحْسِنْ كَمَا أَحْسَنَ اللَّهُ إِلَيْكَ. Be good to others as Allah Azza wa Jal was good to you. وَلَا تَبْغِي الْفَسَادَ فِي الْأَرْضِ إِنَّ اللَّهَ لَا يُحِبُّ الْمُفْسِدِينَ. And do not seek to spread mischief, fasad, corruption, mischief on earth. Very Allah Azza wa Jal does not like those people who commit this, who spread these corruptions and mischief on earth. Tyrants, mischief makers, corruptors. You don't want Allah Azza wa Jal not to love you, not to like you. And Allah Azza wa Jal, his people are telling him, they're warning that Allah does not like people like you are, mischief or corruptors. Allah would like us to be grateful, to live a good life, but to live a balanced life, to give back to the communities where we live, to the people around us, to our neighbors, to our fellow citizens around us, to give back, be good, to spread goodness, not corruptions. 5 pieces of advice that the people in the community of Qarun told him. What was his reaction? Now you wonder, how would someone like Qarun react to that? And we see examples in the same behavior of the same behavior nowadays. قال إنما أوتيته على علم عندي. Sorry to put it this way, but a typical answer that we hear these days. He answered them, I was given this, I was giving all this power, all this money, this wealth, because of the knowledge that I possess. I worked hard for it. I put so much time because I'm clever, I'm intelligent, I know how to make deals. I work day and night. I deserve it. It's like telling us, Allah knew that I deserved that, so He gave it to me. If He didn't love me, He wouldn't have granted me all this wealth and all this power. That was His answer. Me. Always me. That's a message that we hear all around us, in our communities, in our nation, our societies. Work hard. If you work hard, you will get there. They you will hear that all the times, that we determine our own fate, that people are poor because they don't work hard enough. They also believe that if the government gets out of the way, then the people innate qualities will enable them to flourish. Again, the balance is lost. This balance acknowledging that there's a lot of social forces that shape our destiny much more than we are willing to admit. Most of the skills that we all, acquired and allow us to flourish, to acquire, a good life, they're not simply constructed because we studied hard, but they're constructed by many, many forces around us, by the roads that built so we can get to places to learn, by the system that we have built around us that would allow us to go to college, by the investment that the public sector has put in all these institutions that allow us to do that. Because if you don't balance this, if it's all about this rampant hyper super individualism, then there'll be no talk of community and compassion care of each other. Yes, we have to work hard, and the Prophet ﷺ told us working hard is one of the virtues, one of the values of a believer. But also we have to understand that Allah Azza wa Jal gave us all this, not simply because we deserve it, because others too, Allah Azza wa Jal allowed other forces, other social forces, other community members, other societal members and institutions also to get us where we are now. So Qarun told his people, I deserve it. I worked hard for it. None of y'all really worked hard like I did. Not only that, the Quran continues in the story of Qarun, not only about the words that he said that reflect what kind of psyche, what kind of personality this man had, but also showed us, also an example of his behavior. فخرج على قومه في زينته. So he went forth in the street in front of his people with all his power of wealth, showing off all the things that he has, showing people that I'm rich, I'm powerful. To do what? To impress others, to make sure that others see him as someone with power, as someone who's very wealthy. قال الذين يريدون الحياة الدنيا يا ليت لنا مثل ما أوتي قارون إنه لذو حظ عظيم. So the people, the Quran described the reaction of the people around him when he went down the streets in the town showing off his wealth. There was two reactions. The first reaction, what the Quran people said, people who only think about this life, short-sighted, very materialistic, think that this life, that they live in this life for the sake of this life. What did they say? They said, we wish that we have like Qarun had. They wish the same. They think that living the dream is what these wealthy, arrogant people have. They think that's the real dream. And they said, he's so lucky. Man, he's so lucky, this guy. He's so lucky. That wealthy woman out there, she's so lucky. And we wish we like her. We wish we like him. The Quran says these people who think this way, they really need to rethink their priorities. Because if your priority is this life here, your priority is only materialism. Your priority is not to balance to live a good life, but life connected with your creator, then you're in a great danger. That was one group of the community. But there's another group of the community. They reacted differently. And the Quran described those people. وَقَالَ الَّذِينَ أُوتُوا الْعِلْمَ. And the people who are given knowledge. Now you may wonder, what kind of knowledge is that? It's not only what some of us tend to think religious knowledge, but it's the knowledge of the Creator, the knowledge that we have Allah Azza wa Jal who created us, the knowledge that we're all going in a path to our Creator, the knowledge that we are better than, we're not created only to live a materialistic, animalistic life. A knowledge that we're here to help each other, to serve each other, to care about each other. Not only care about a human being, but to care about what we're giving this earth, what the Quran called the amana, the trust. What did they say? وقال الذين أوتوا العلم ويلكم ثواب الله خير لمن آمن وعمل صالحا ولا يلقاه إلا الصابرون. They said to the people around them, woe to you. The reward of Allah in the hereafter is better for those who believe and do righteous deeds, and this shall not be attained except those who are patient in following the truth. You may have a hard time. You may go to college, work hard, get a degree, you did well, but still don't feel that you have what you need. You're not what you believe wealthy. But knowing that Allah Azza wa Jal, you know, is very, that you have to be grateful that Allah Azza wa Jal, you know, loves you, that Allah Azza wa Jal will give you what He's destined for you. knowing that this life is not the destination, and then the hereafter is the real life, is the real home, you will be patient. And patient, like I said before, is an active process, not a passive process. It's not like you're sitting at home waiting that your income, your salary will come to you. No, you pray hard, you try to do good, you struggle to be a good member of the community, but you work hard. So that's the patient. It's an active process. So you, in one hand, you have these people who are deluded, illusions that what is a dream. On the other hand, you get people who understand the real knowledge, who knows what the real deal is, reminding their communities, be patient, be grateful. Don't think that these people are your role models. The real role models are those prophets, those people who have piety, the pious people, the people who have a balanced view of life and a balanced life. Then what happened? The story continues of Qarun. To give you an example, in the past, people in the history, how Allah Azza wa Jal dealt with communities like this and with people like that. فَخَسَفْنَا بِهِ وَبِدَارِهِ الْأَرْضِ. Very, very, very tough. Allah Azza wa Jal said, we caused the earth to swallow him and his dwelling places, his castle, his whatever, his house. So he's gone. No more Qarun, no more the wealth, no more the power. All these tyrants that we see nowadays in many countries around the world who are oppressing their own communities, their own people, and they think they're going to stay alive forever, they will die and they will face their Lord for what they've done. And then Allah Azza wa Jal in that surah continues giving us an idea about the reaction of the people after that event, after Allah Azza wa Jal just took him out. وأصبح الذين تمنوا مكانه بالأمس يقولون ويك أن الله يبسط الرزق لمن يشاء من عباده ويقدر لولا أن من الله علينا لخسف بنا وكأنه لا يفلح الكافرون. Then what did they say? The people yesterday, the Quran says, and the people of yesterday who were saying yesterday, we wish we like Qarun. When they saw what happened to Qarun, what was their reaction? Their reaction was, they said, be careful. Allah Azza wa Jalla is the one that opens up wealth to people or not. And it's because Allah Azza wa Jalla was great, was merciful with us, we didn't have the same faith of Harun. And they said, be careful, the disbelievers, the kafirun, we will not succeed. And the kafirun here is not necessarily in disbelief in terms of, being an atheist or disbeliever. No. Here, al-kafirun comes from the word kufr, meaning the one who covers the ni'mah, the bounty, meaning being ungrateful. That ungrateful people will not succeed. And the story ends by this beautiful verse. تلك الدار الآخرة نجعلها للذين لا يريدون علوا في الأرض ولا فسادا والعاقبة للمتقين. Indeed, the Quran says, the home or the hereafter, we shall grant it to those who do not go against the truth with pride and oppression in the land, nor do mischief, on earth. And the good ends is for the pious and the righteous people. So think about this story of Qarun and the end of it, that indeed our real home, our destination, that place in paradise, Allah Azza wa Jal is reserving in those people who believe in Him and walk on earth with humility. Don't oppress people. Don't oppress themselves. Don't oppress people, and don't oppress the earth where they live. When we live a life that does not, again, I'm going to repeat that. When we live a life that does not encompass the care of the earth, the climate, the environment where we live, the rivers, the neighborhood where we live, the air we breathe, the water we drink, then we are treating these places, we are treating the environment with arrogance. We're spreading corruptions when we don't feel that all these resources that Allah gave us, the land on which we stand, we build houses, we walk, if we don't see it, if we don't live it, if we don't walk on it with kindness, if we don't walk on it, with care, if we treat it with oppression, if we oppress it and we treat it with pride, then that's not, Allah Azza wa Jalla said, that's not, our, and the hereafter, we're not gonna get the place near Him. Because this ayah ends, وَالْعَاقِبَةُ لِلْمُتَّقِينَ, that the good end is only the people who have taqwa, who are righteous, who are pious. So I hope, inshallah, that, that story of Qarun, was very useful in give us an idea on how Allah Azza wa Jal want us to live our life, a good life, a balanced life, a life that seeks more than material things, a life that seeks to help others, to help the environment around us where we live, a life that seeks to lift everybody's together. So we all go together, inshallah, in our journey to Allah Azza wa Jal, our Creator. We ask Allah Azza wa Jal on this blessed day of Jummah to forgive us, to grant us the wisdom, to make us among the grateful, and to give us the company, inshallah, in paradise with our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and his family, his companion, and the pious people and the people before us and our loved one. وأقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
Thank you, Dr. Damesh, for doing our khutbah today. There's just a few quick announcements from the MSA. Inshallah, today at 3:30 we have our Surah Kahf group reading, so please join us for that on Zoom. Next week on Tuesday we're doing a Khatib workshop with Imam Ammar at 6 p.m. On Wednesday at 4 p.m. there is a Sisters Halaqah. You can either join that in person or on Zoom. Also on Wednesday at 6 p.m. we're doing a Justice for Uyghur Muslims event on Zoom, so please join us for that event. Next week on Thursday, Imam Ammar is doing his class on Aqidah Tahawi at 7 o'clock. And then Friday, there's a Brothers Fitness event. It'll be at the gym, so you have to make sure you register and book a spot for that. And then the mask fundraiser is ending next week, so the link to order that is on the MSA Instagram and Linktree. And then you can also ask questions about it on GroupMe. And then the nominal fundraiser is still going on. You can use the code MSAVCU at checkout, and then we'll get a portion of those proceeds. Assalamu alaikum.